After me and Jessica Jones ate pizza from Pizza Hut and we both drank peach teas, and then she and I went to take a shower and I made love to Jessica Jones again in the shower, and it felt wonderful making love to the Kristen Ritter Jessica Jones lookalike, and I made love to her in every sexual position, and I liked the Kristen Ritter Jessica Jones better than the Jessica Jones from the comic books, and that's why I enjoyed making love to this version of Jessica Jones very much, and I've always been a fan of Kristen Ritter as an actress, and she's gorgeous, so yes, I would definitely enjoy having sex with her even if it's just her doppelganger from another universe. Anyway, that's all the more reason for me to love the Jessica Jones in this universe, because she looks just like Kristen Ritter. Anyway, moving on, after I was finally done taking a shower with Jessica Jones, she and I decided to go back working as private investigators for a while, and then one day Trish Walker cornered me in the men's bathroom, and then I asked her, can I help you? And then she said, as a matter of fact, you can. I want you to give me superpowers. And then I said, oh hell, did Jessica tell you that I can give anyone powers? And then Trish Walker said, no, I found out from Simpson and some other people that know you. And then I asked Trish Walker, you spoke to my sister Jean Grey, didn't you? And then I said, I don't think I can do this because I don't want Jessica mad at me because she's my wife. Trish, she could probably hurt me when I'm vulnerable, and for her being my wife that wouldn't be too hard. And then Trish Walker said, bullshit, I'm sure you probably already gave her superpowers. And I didn't deny it. And then Trish Walker said, I knew it, you're not denying it, please, I'm begging you, I will do anything for superpowers. And then I said, calm down, I didn't want anything from you. And then I sighed and said, if you're going to be a superhero, then you need a mask because you're Trish Walker and you're famous and people will recognize you without a mask. And then Trish Walker said, okay, lay it on me, big guy. And then I asked her, what kind of powers did you want? Because I can give you the powers of Superman or Supergirl, I can give any kind of powers you want, Trish Walker. And then she asked me, really, you can give me any type of powers? And then she said, okay, let me think. And then she said, well, I want the powers of Superman without the kryptonite weakness, and I also want all the powers of the Flash. And then I said, now that's interesting. And then I said, come here. And then she asked me, what? And then I said, I need to touch you somewhere on your body. And then she took off her shirt and I could see her sports bra, and I quickly looked away and grunted loudly. And then I said, I meant your arm or something. And then I blushed red like a tomato and I said, never mind, just come here. And then I hugged Trish Walker and a warm yellow glow came from my hands and surrounded Trish Walker and me. And then I said, done. And Trish Walker enjoyed the hug a little too much and she smiled. And then Trish Walker said, you know, Jessica told me that you two are in a polygamous marriage and you can marry other women, and if your hug feels this good, then I wonder what else feels good. And then I asked Trish, what about Simpson? And then she said, oh, we broke up. And then I asked why, he was a good guy and I'm already married to your adoptive sister Jessica, and it would be a bit awkward having sex with her, and you don't you think, Trish Walker? And then Trish said, no, not really. And then Trish said, you're so handsome and it's so hard for me to hold back my desire to have sex with you. And then Trish Walker used her super speed to lock the men's bathroom, and then I said, this is not a good idea. And then Trish Walker started kissing me, and then she quickly pulled down my pants and she said, wow, I knew it was bigger than I thought, it's about 11 inches, but it's gorgeous, every part of you is beautiful. And then she started deep throating my penis, and then I started moaning softly, and then I said, oh my god, that feels so good. And then after 2 hours I came in Trish's mouth and she moaned loudly and she looked happy and she went cross-eyed for a minute, and then Trish Walker showed me that she swallowed all my cum, and then she took off her bra and I took off all my clothes, and then Trish Walker said, oh my god, yes, oh you're so handsome, oh fuck me, Trish Walker said loudly. And lucky for me, this public bathroom was in a public subway train station and it's a handicap bathroom that not many people use. And then Trish Walker continued to ride my member in the cowgirl position while vibrating and using her speed force powers for many hours, and she started having sex with me faster, and it felt so good that I couldn't help but come inside Trish's vagina many times while I was having sex with her. And then Trish Walker said, oh my god, I knew this would be good, oh I fucking love it. And then Trish Walker said, I want you to fill all my holes.